Thank you very much, Dr. Jamila, for the introduction, and thanks for the clinical virology team for the invitation. Glad to be here for the second time. Thank you all for coming this morning. Will not take much of your time. Most of my presentation, it's like a summary of whatever been presented. However, we'll shed some light on the patient suppressed, and we'll talk about the insurance of HIV in Saudi Arabia. So my topic is about treatment optimization in suppressed patients with HIV. Is two-drug regimen an option? These are my disclosures, and this is the outline of my presentation. Let me just stimulate you with the case that I saw in the clinic. This is a 53-year-old gentleman who's married, a businessman, diagnosed to have HIV in 2005, currently maintained and controlled on a 4-drug regimen, TAF, FTC, and boosted elvitikravir. His HIV condition is excellent, under control, and doing fine, no issues from HIV perspective. However, he's hypertensive, diabetic, and dyslipidemic, and he's on different medication, and he's a smoker for the past 23 years. Newly diagnosed to have dyslipidemia. So as part of the workup in the clinic, we counsel him about optimization of the regimen. So in general, what are the considerations that we need to take in account before making the switch? Is the virological efficacy, the potential adverse effects, the childbearing potentials, and the use of contraception, the drug-drug interactions, the comorbid conditions, the cost, the resistant test results. So the first question he asked, why do I need to change my regimen? I'm happy, my HIV is well controlled, and tolerating the medication very well. So this question has been answered yesterday. We'll just go over it quickly. We know now from the North American Accord trial that HIV patients now, they live longer, and another study from Denmark showed the same results as well, and the chance of having comorbidity is higher when you compare it to the general population. So HIV patients are at higher risk of developing comorbidities when you compare them with the general population. And of course, if they live longer, more comorbidities, they have more medication and polypharmacy, and this leads to drug-drug interactions. And as a result, they may have a long-term side effects. And of course, we cannot ignore resistance. Not only that, the economic burden increases when those patients approach 50s, and they cost like more than 80% of the budget of HIV patients in general, if you compare them with the 20 years old HIV. So here is a summary of the reasons to consider regimen optimization in the setting of viral suppression. Regimen simplification. So regimen simplification does not necessarily mean switching from two-drug regimen to a single-drug regimen. Sometimes simplification means also switching from a single-tablet regimen to another single-tablet regimen, like three-drug regimen and into two-drug single-tablet regimen. Tolerability and less toxicity, of course. Drug-drug interactions to eliminate food and fluid requirements like rilpivirine, long-acting injectables as an option, and teratogenicity, of course, adherence, and patient preference. At the end, you have to counsel the patient and get his preference. Aging and comorbidities, co-infections, hepatitis B mainly, tuberculosis as well, higher barrier to resistance, and the cost. So he asked again, what are my options? And thanks to the pharmaceutical companies, we have plenty of options, and all of them are excellent options for him. So the first option would be 3-drug regimen like bictegravir, TAF, FTC, TDF, FTC plus dolutegravir, TAF, FTC plus dolutegravir, TAF, abacavir, dolutegravir, long-acting injectables. However, it's not available in Saudi. And 2-drug regimen like dolutegravir 3TC. So after counseling, he was convinced with the 2-tablet regimen. So will the new medication control my HIV? Very important question that has been answered before, and we'll show you the updates from the tango study, the 196 weeks updates. So durable efficacy of switching from 3 to 4 drug regimen of TAF-based to the 2-drug regimen, dolutegravir, lamivudine, in the tango study, the 196-week update. So a little bit of background about the tango study. So dolutegravir plus 3TC is a 2-drug regimen with a high barrier to resistance, high durability, efficacy, and a good safety and tolerability that's recommended by different guidelines. Switching to a 2-drug regimen, dolutegravir 3TC has demonstrated durable and non-inferiority efficacy versus continuing 3 or 4-drug regimen for maintaining the virological suppression. And this has been shown in the 48 weeks in the SALSA trial and 144 in the tango. So the efficacy and safety at 196 weeks from the tango for those who were virologically suppressed on TAF-based regimen at baseline switched to dolutegravir 3TC on day 1, and for those switched to dolutegravir 3TC at 148 weeks are presented. They were presented in the HIV drug therapy in Glasgow last month. So the study designed phase 3 randomized open label multicenter parallel group non-inferiority study, and the eligibility criteria if there is very well controlled HIV, no hepatitis B co-infection, no hepatitis C co-infection, no prior resistance, and the patients are maintained on TAF, FTC plus protease inhibitor, integrase inhibitor, or NNRTI as a niche regimen. The randomization was 1-to-1. The first arm was the dolutegravir 3TC, and the second arm is the TAF-based regimen. So what they've done at 148 weeks, they switched the patients again to 2-drug regimen, and they have checked the viral suppression and the safety. So the participants were generally balanced in both groups, early switch and late switch, and probably the late switch also group had higher weight and BMI and CD4 count was compared in both groups. So what did it show? It showed the high efficacy when you compare early and late switch, both groups, and over the 196 weeks, 83% of the participants in the early switch group had a viral RNA of less than 50. Over the 48 weeks, the majority of patients were maintained, 93% virologically suppressed. What about the safety? In the early switch and late switch, it showed the excellent data in terms of safety, and there was only 2 drug-related severe adverse events, which are the high transaminitis and the hypersensitivity. And there was no fatal adverse events in the study treatment. And there is one more slide, I think I missed it, about the lipid. There was improvement in the lipid mainly in the LDL in that study. So which patient to select for long-acting injectables? The clinical considerations that we have to take care is the clinical considerations: HIV suppression, no history of treatment failure, no integrase inhibitor or NNRTI resistance in the past, no hepatitis B virus co-infection, and no risk of hepatitis B in the future, no pregnancy, and no major drug-drug interactions. And the patient has been engaged in care with a regular follow-up and good adherence. So what do the guidelines say? I'll just summarize the guidelines in terms of 2-drug regimen. So it is critical to review all the patient's ARV history, including the virological responses, the toxicities, the intolerance, the cumulative resistance in the past before selecting a new regimen. Long-acting injectables, such as the combination of the captopril and ribavirin, is an optimization option and can be offered in selected type of patients. However, they have to have a lead therapy of 3 to 6 months. What about monotherapy? Monotherapy is not recommended regardless of the agent. So this is a very important update for people working in Saudi Arabia. So a couple of weeks ago, there was introduction of the new insurance bylaws. So as you know, the HIV treatment in Saudi Arabia is fully covered by the government, and no extra cost whatsoever in terms of insurance or on the patient. However, this is going to change, and probably starting from January, the insurance will cover. So why I'm bringing this? Cost has to be taken into consideration. I personally don't usually look into cost as a factor when dealing with HIV patients, but this has to change. And when selecting an optimization therapy, you have to look into the coverage of the insurance. Now they say it will cover up till 1 million riyal, but it's good to keep it in mind. And I want to share with you one study which was done in Canada, and very interesting study. They have a clinic, HIV clinic of 1,000 patients, and they try to optimize the therapy into 2-drug regimen, 3-TC dolutegravir. And they were successful in switching around 40% of those patients. And this optimization has saved 1.5 million Canadian dollars. And they have projected the saving. And if they have succeeded to achieve 100% switch, they would save around $10 million. So this is something to keep in mind with the new changes in the health policies. So with this, I would conclude, and these are my take-home messages. So the fundamental principle of regimen optimization is to maintain a viral suppression without jeopardizing the future treatment options. Adverse events, drug-drug interaction, or food interactions, the pill burden, pregnancy, cost, or the desire to simplify the regimen may prompt a regimen switch. And introducing an optimized drug regimens and formulations will promote more effective and durable ARV treatment, improve the quality of HIV care, and could save money. So the optimization should be individualized from case to case, and dolutegravir 3-TC is a potent, reliable, and safe medication with a high barrier to resistance that can be used. Thank you very much.